action!
Welcome one and all to History's Mysteries. I'm your host, Stephen Close, and today we're here at the Museum of Antiquities today for an adventure that will have you calling for mummy. Oh, God!
That's my line.
Who writes this tripe anyway? There's got to be a better, less punny way to introduce today's episode.
If there is, our scriptwriter is keeping it under wraps.
Why don't we take 5? I'll come up with a better intro.
Well, you heard the man. Take 5, people! Ah, sheesh, who does he think he is? I'm the director, it should be going my way! Guess I better get back to framing the shot. Ow! Hey, don't just leave set pieces lying around! Wait, what is this anyway? Is that real jade? Oh, and now it's glowing and... No!
The time of death was 0400 TAP-G, turn the TV down. I'm trying to edit together an advertisement.
No can do, amigo. I lost the remote, and these hot, fresh nachos aren't gonna eat themselves, you know?
Fine. What are you watching anyway?
Sci-Fi Channel's running a mummy movie marathon. This is one of their originals, though. Oh, the special effects in here are just terrible.
We're like the Sci-Fi Channel.
Hey, I was watching that!
Now, if you want to see a good set of mummy movies, there's always the Brendan Fraser ones.
The Universal ones? They were all right.
Well, let's not forget that if it weren't for Universal, we might not even have mummies in the classic set of monsters. You know, like Wolfman, Frankenstein's monster, and the creature from the Black Lagoon.
True that, but didn't the Mummy trilogy come out somewhat recently?
Yep, it started in 1999 with The Mummy. Did pretty well at the box office, too, pulling in $155 million.
Clearly called for a sequel, merchandise and all that.
Well, there were indeed sequels in 2001 and 2008, but somewhere in between, Universal Pictures teamed up with Universal Creative to bring theme park guests into this very adventurous setting.
So, I guess we're gonna 86 the marathon and talk about Revenge of the Mummy at Universal Studios Florida.
Trust me, this is worth it. Revenge of the Mummy opened up back in 2004 in Orlando first, then just a month later in Hollywood, each at a cost of $40 million. Now, Orlando's Mummy coaster replaced Kongfrontation, an opening day attraction, while Hollywood's replaced the E.T. adventure. Singapore's was a new building that only cost $20 million to put in.
I guess it takes more money to gut a former attraction than just to build a new one. But wow, Revenge of the Mummy replaced Kongfrontation?
Well, a fact that most Universal fans seem to resent. Kong was well loved, but a mechanical nightmare. But hey, let's save that for an RIP episode. Back to Mummy. As you walk toward the queue, you'll notice 2 things right away. First, there are ride lockers to store your loose articles in across from the entrance. Believe me, you will want to make use of them.
People tend to lose some pretty important stuff on this ride. I usually follow the axiom, if I can't fit it in a pocket, I better lock it. Best of all, the lockers are free for one ride on the coaster.
And 2, you're approaching a Museum of Antiquities with a theater to its left, where you enter. Once inside, you'll wind past posters for the Mummy films before entering the museum. As it turns out, this is a facade, and you're actually entering a hot film set for a sequel titled Revenge of the Mummy.
Oh, hold on! There was already a sequel to the original Mummy film, even before this coaster opened.
Well, it's just the story of the ride, about the only sensible way to theme it. But yeah, you go in deeper and find out that you and fellow line waiters are set to be cast as the extras. Winding deeper yet, the set springs to life around you, and the team members even start to take on their roles in the film, no longer the helpful production assistants you saw up front.
Oh, and don't forget about Brendan Fraser. He's in this too, right?
You do see him early in the queue if it's backed up enough, and that actually helps set up the premise of the ride. It's one of those making-of documentary kind of things, where they talk about filming, the set, all that good stuff. Watching for long enough reveals that there's supposedly a curse on the set, and the crew member responsible for getting Brendan's coffee has gone missing.
A curse set is kind of the last place I'd want to film a movie, but maybe that's just me. Okay, so the team members are temple guards, and Olmec's nowhere to be found, and I still can't believe it's not Butter. What's next?
Butter? What? Oh, next you prepare to board a minecart that can hold up to 20 passengers, 4 rows of 5. Again, why you would want to board a minecart going into such a convincingly real curse set is beyond me. Anyways, you'll soon find the missing crew member who informs you, just slightly too late, that the curse is real.
He tells you to find the Magi symbol, your only hope of escape. Then, it's a psychological thrill ride with Imhotep, the film's first villain, taunting and threatening you throughout your journey. You'll face scarab beetles, fire, other mummies, a trip backwards, and just when you think it's all over, it's not. So, bearing that in mind, let's discuss and perhaps rate the attraction and get back to the Mummy movie marathon madness. Woohoo!
Alright, first thing I gotta say, this ride's pretty scary.
Yes. Yes, it is.
But all in all, I think the effects that really help to bring it all together...
Oh my gosh, that first mummy, that Imhotep, when he first pops up,
yeah,
holy cow. That gives Stitch a run for his money.
Yeah, it's a really good audio animatronic.
Oh yeah.
It walks so convincingly, too.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't very stilted. That's Universal Creative. Go you guys.
Yep, they do occasionally hit one right out of the park. Now, to me, I feel like the story is bare minimum, and my main problem with it is that it's not that it's a good story, it's not that it's a bad story, it's just that you can actually miss it if you're actually not too far back in line.
Yeah, that tends to be a problem with a lot of attractions I've noticed. We mentioned that with Transformers just last week. But for me, I like the idea of that, you know, you're going onto a set that turns out to be real. This is a lot better off than most other studio attractions, whether it's a Disney or Universal, of the whole, you know, you're going onto a movie set and something goes wrong.
Yeah, you're actually kind of engaged in a little bit of a role. It all kind of takes a back seat once you sort of start to realize that the curse is real,
yeah,
and that the movie set is really coming to life around you.
Yeah. And the theming of it all is awesome. I like how it kind of segues in the queue from backstage set to something straight out Indiana Jones' Adventure at Disneyland.
Here's another thing that I really want to say a big kudos to. It's the team members. They start out as production assistants out front, but once you get inside and they kind of take on that whole like curse thing,
yeah,
oh my gosh, some of them can be so creepy.
Kind of like those bellhops at Tower of Terror.
But yeah, it's like I feel like some of them do a really good job of really convincing me about it.
Yeah. All in all, though, I can't do scary rides. So whenever we're at Universal, I have to opt out of this one, and I know you don't do roller coasters.
I'm not a big coaster fan, but honestly, the roller coasting portion of this attraction is relatively small. Another of my problems with this ride.
Do tell.
It's, the time you spend slowly rolling through these elaborate sets. Sometimes, you know, it's cool because it kind of helps to build up the story, and you're in these mine carts and you realize there's no way out. Mm-hmm. But you kind of roll slowly forward, you hit the wall, these scarabs come out. It's only after that that you really start to roller coast, and it lasts so short.
What is with that roller coaster portion? It's like Mr. Toad on steroids.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of is, but it's so short. And I mean, for something that's been billed as a roller coaster, you expect a little more rolling and coasting.
I suppose, but, you know, I think that's all in favor of the story rather than just being a roller coaster. It may be a bit of an uncomfortable mix between a show ride and a roller coaster, but most things considered, that isn't bad at all. I mean, and then there's that infamous fake-out scene.
Oh, yeah, the fake-out, where you think you're done with the ride, and, yeah.
Yeah, I think that is brilliant.
It's a great thing to do, but unfortunately, I'm just, having been in this industry, I really wasn't fooled by it.
Well, you may not be fooled by it, but, you know, if you're like me that gets your adrenaline going after being in such scary scenes for so long and you're so terrified what's going on around you, you look for any sort of salvation, and there it is. There's a team member saying, "Thank you for riding, now please exit here," only to realize, oh, geez, this is still part of the ride!
Yeah.
That is what makes it so cool. And again, that whole goes with the theming of being on a set in an amusement park. Oh, wait, no, it's real. And that's what makes this so brilliant. Even though I can't ride it.
I don't know. I mean, we both wrote it for review purpose.
Yeah.
Let us agree never to do it again.
Yes, yes. The whole hell scene afterwards, death is only the beginning.
Yeah.
It's like Night on Bald Mountain. I mean, I'm sorry for all the Disney references, but wow!
Yeah, it can be a little scary, but then you get to the end, and
what does save you in the end? I'm not really clear on that. I mean, I know it's the Magi and all that, but, you know, you see the Magi, and then you see Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, it is a little unclear. It seems, it just doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. And it's, in a way, it's kind of like a MacGuffin.
Yeah.
It's like, it's that way to let you know, oh, ride's over.
I think it's because that this ride's done such a great job of setup and theming and execution that ending the curse is kind of something that really should be last place on the list of priorities. But on the other hand, too, it is kind of confusing. So altogether, I think this ride is awesome. Like I do Dinosaur or Tower or Haunted Mansion, even though I can't do these rides because I'm scared of them, they're still great, amazing, well-built rides. So I have to give this a 4 out of 5.
For me, I think it's mostly got to do with length, that I'm really not... It's like, I like the ride, but I feel like, even if it did kind of take the place of King Kong, I feel like they could have put a little bit more into the roller coasting portion.
Yeah.
This bills itself as a roller coaster. There should be more roller coasting. Therefore, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 3 out of 5. So, that's a 4 out of 5 from TAP-G and a 3 out of 5 from SurferClock.
Now let me just get the ride restrictions. There.
Quit exaggerating. I know it's a Universal ride and all, but it's not that bad. Still shorter than Pteranodon flyers over there.
To ride, you must be at least 48 inches or 122 centimeters tall to ride. Child swaps are available inside. Those who suffer from abnormal blood pressure, heart conditions, and suffer from back or neck problems should not ride. Expectant mothers, those who suffer from motion sickness, folks affected by strobe and fog effects, fear of enclosed spaces, and have had recent surgeries or suffer from other unseen conditions also should not ride.
Alright, I'll go ahead and take a few. Those who have prosthetic limbs should ensure that they either secure or remove them to keep said limbs from causing a hazard or losing them. The ride does have restraints which may not accommodate folks of larger shapes or sizes. There is a test seat available out front to determine your ability to ride. Service animals are not permitted to ride, so see an attendant for assistance.
Now then, as per the Universal standards, you must be able to grasp the lap bar with one upper extremity, be able to maintain yourself in an upright position independently, absorb the dramatic forces of a roller coaster, at least one leg must extend past the shin guard, and one leg must extend past the edge of the seat or terminate below the knee.
Still not done. Guests must be able to transfer from a wheelchair or scooter to the ride vehicle either independently or with the help of a member of their party. Several modified vehicles are available to assist with this transfer, so make sure you talk with an attendant if you need the assistance. Oh, and closed captioning is apparently available.
Dude, you can't tell me that wasn't long.
We gotta make sure our listeners know everything about the ride.
Yeah, well, you missed something.
What?
Single rider's line, of course, and Express Pass is applicable here. And apparently there exists some tributes to King Kong in several places in the line and in the ride.
Huh, that's kind of neat. So, recommendations?
This is definitely a roller coaster, but I'd say more intense than Space Mountain, but less than Rip Ride Rocket. Honestly, the roller coaster parts are short, as it's more about getting into the story. I'd say go if you're 10 or older, enjoy a little story with your roller coastering, and are a fan of the Mummy movies.
The parts that are roller coaster-ish do go up to 45 miles per hour, in the dark, and occasionally backwards. The faint of heart, younger children, and pyrophobes may want to steer clear.
Can I make a recommendation?
Sure, go ahead, Tower Girl.
Brendan Fraser fans should ride this too. He is so cute.
Thanks for that. Now, let's see where this marathon's at, and I'll go back to editing.
Hey, welcome back.
Brendan Fraser?
Hope you enjoyed yourself. I would have enjoyed this a lot more if I had gotten a cup of coffee!
Oh, here, take mine.
Thank you.
Uh-oh, she's stuck in the TV again.
I don't think she'll mind being stuck in there for a while with Brendan Fraser.
Unless he makes her co-star in George of the Jungle 3 or something.
Well, on that note, I'm going back to editing. You got next week's attraction in mind?
I might have a rough idea.
Alright.
So, he's SurferClock and I'm TAP-G. Thanks for listening to What's the Attraction, where our work is your vacation. Guess I gotta find something else to watch. Okay, that works.